Hello, my name is Scott Menace and I'm a solutions consultant with Beyond 20. Today I'm going to be talking about Beyond 20's new automation error logging map. So this is a new map Beyond 20 has just released that has some really cool features. So most of the time when we're working on an incident, what we have to do is go to the incident and then go to Tools, Current Automation Processes. And this is really the only way to see if a automation process has failed, outside of logging onto the server and looking at the event logs. However, neither of these options actually give us any information unless we go out and look for it, which means we have to have known an error occurred. And a lot of times you may not know. So if a approval email doesn't send, if a task doesn't get generated, we don't have any alerts within Cherwell by default. This makes it extremely difficult to proactively address Cherwell issues. So what we've done is we've built a map that allows us to more proactively deal with issues around Cherwell's automation processes and scheduled servers. So once this map is applied to a system, there's a new dashboard that gets created. This dashboard looks at the last 160 days of records around automation processes and scheduled server records, and gives us a count of any failed records. So if I was a Cherwell admin, I could go out here and say, oh, I have an issue with one of my automation processes for incident. Now this could be a one-time issue if there's only one in the last 160 days, or you could have 500. So let me click on this record and we can take a look. So from here we can get a lot of information. We can see what the name of the automation process was. We can get the details on the error message. If the error message is too big to fit in here, we can click here to get a larger view of it. And we can see when it ran and what object it ran against. If it's one of your default business objects, such as incident, problem, change, approval, or task, it'll actually show us the relationship to the record down here. And I can use this arrow to go to record and actually look at the record. But otherwise, most of the information I need to troubleshoot the issue is right here. So we'll have a count for all the major business objects, but let's say there's an error around an automation process not related to one of these primary ones. That's where we have this other category. That way, in case it's a minor business object, a specifics form, a custom business object, the count's still there, and you can still see what record it is and go to that record. The only difference will be there won't be a relationship down here at the bottom. You'll have to look at what the business object is and what the business object's rec ID is, and then browse to that record. To do that, you'll need the business object rec ID. So I can go to Tools, Help, System Analyzer, and then I can press right here, and I can see a couple of fields that aren't visible on this form. The one I need in this case would be the Business Object Rec ID. So by knowing the Business Object Rec ID, I can go find this record no matter what kind of business object it is. So this allows us to more proactively deal with automation process issues or scheduler issues. Now if I go back here, going to this dashboard isn't exactly proactive. So the other thing I can do is I can enable email notifications. What this does is I can click here to enable email notifications. And then anytime there's an error in the automation process system or the scheduler, it's going to send an email to whatever email address is here. It's currently set to blank, so that's not good. So for example, I could set it to a Beyond 20 email address. Now any failure with an automation project or a scheduled job will get sent to the email address selected here. I don't actually want these to be sent to this address, so I'm going to go ahead and disable this for now. The same way we can see issues around the automation processes, we can see the information around the scheduler. So here I've got a list of all the scheduled jobs that have failed today, and this 7 is a total count that have failed within the last 160 days. So if I click on the error for today, for example, I'll get that high level information. As scheduled jobs aren't related to a specific business object, I'll have to read through it to see what specifically failed. But I can see the name of the scheduled job that failed, the def details, the error message, and again when it failed. So this is a far better way to get information around what's failed and making sure you're aware of what's going on in your environment. A lot of times users may or may not know that a automation process has failed because they'll only know if they get something. They have no way to know that they should have gotten an approval unless whoever is waiting on the approval comes and tracks them down, which means you could have an automation failing for days or months before you actually realize there's an issue. That's all the basic capabilities of this map. This map is relatively complex to install, so it's not available just to directly download from the Cherwell Map Exchange. If you're interested in this map, you'll want to contact Beyond 20. The contact information is on the bottom of this video if you're watching this from our YouTube site. If not, it is in the documentation related to this map on the Cherwell Map Exchange. If you have any questions about this map, please contact us.